The Meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with PC Mike and the Giggler, talking about mostly superheroes stuff with everything else out here that we find interesting, from books to comics to TV shows to movies. You never know what it's going to be. And today is very, very special for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's what you want. It's why you came. It's why you're here. Fellas, it's exciting. Today we officially start our hashtag DCU rewatch. You'll notice I did add a letter in there. We were calling it the DC rewatch. I want to call it the DCU rewatch.
That works for me.
Only because the Mostly Superheroes page, which is still being created right now. If you try to go to it, it's not public yet. It's mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU. So we have the MCU page, DCU. This is the hashtag DCU for DC Universe rewatch.
Makes sense.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right, well, let's kick it off with the arguably one of the most famous DC movies of all time, hands down, one of the ones that started it all. Let's kick it off with a little help from Wikipedia. This movie came out on December 15th, 1978, directed by Richard Donner, written by Mario Puzo, David Newman, Leslie Newman, and Robert Benton, from a story by Puzo based on the DC Comics character of the same name. We are talking about Superman the movie. It's the first installment in the Superman film series, an international co-production between the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Panama, and the United States. The film stars an ensemble cast featuring Marlon Brando as Jor-El, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, Christopher Reeves as Superman, Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, Ned Beatty as Otis, R.I.P., who actually just passed away the day that we actually watched this. Saw that. Looked like natural causes. Ned Beatty is the hilarious Otis in this film, and so many more. It depicts the origin of Superman, including his infancy as Kal-El of Krypton, son of Jor-El in his youthful years in the rural town of Smallville. Disguised as reporter Clark Kent, he adopts a mild-mannered disposition in Metropolis and develops a romance with Lois Lane whilst blasting the villainous Lex Luthor. This is the OG Man of Steel right here. It's Superman the movie. Let's give it up. Spoiler. I struggle with that word so much. Spoiler alert right now for the movie.
Spoiler, hardly know her.
Oh, man, Andy, that's good. Superman the movie. Spoiler alert, if I can get it out. Again, big thanks to Wikipedia for the help with the little synopsis. We're going to do this thing round table style. I have a whole list of my favorite parts. We're going to break it open for you. Already gave that spoiler alert. I've seen this thing probably 10, 15 times in my life. Let's start with you, PC, Mike, kind of being, in my mind, I don't know if you're more DC than Andy, but I know you guys both love Batman, but I know that you really know DC. How did this watch go for you?
I think that we have to take into account that, like we talked about, it's 1978. Okay, the graphics aren't going to be there. You would think the acting should be there, but at some points it's not. Campy. I think before we even started this, Andy kind of said he was thinking Adam West Batman, which is kind of true. But I do respect it for what it did, because I don't think without this film and its success that we'd have all the movies that we have today.
That was really well said,
true.
And it's going to be hard for you to follow up, Giggler, but
No, you got to give it props there for sure, just for like kind of what this all started. So
how many times had you seen it when you watched it? Because you just watched it. We all watched it this week. Let's
I would
just get
say
it out of the way.
a handful.
Okay,
but
okay.
I couldn't tell you like the last time I watched it from beginning to end.
And you were probably younger
Yeah.
when you saw it too. We're in our 30s.
Yeah.
How about you, Giggler? Is this a crowd favorite for you? How many times have you seen it? And how'd this watch go for you this week?
well, this is the first time I've ever seen this movie.
Wow.
Today.
First time ever.
Today.
Today. You watched
Yes.
it today
I
for the
watched-
first time ever in your life.
I watched the first half last night, finished it off today, and it was the first time. I don't know why I've never seen this. Maybe it's just because, my opinion, I guess Batman came out like 89 with Michael Keaton. That was like right around when I was born. So
Yeah.
maybe, but there was not really Superman movies coming out around that time.
Yeah, this was 10 years later.
So
And where do you watch it? Like you'd have to have the VHS
Yeah.
or the DVD, you know?
Yeah.
Now we can click on HBO and watch all this
I've
stuff.
said it before, in 2006 for my birthday, our buddy Nathan bought me the DVDs so I could watch these. You're right. It would have been a lot tougher. But anyway,
But-
how'd this go for you as a first time watch through this thing?
Yeah, it was not as bad. Like I was going in with pretty low expectations.
I
but
see. I see.
I've never been a huge Superman fan, but I'm definitely more intrigued now about the kind of what is there 5? There's 5 in this like saga, I guess.
I
or-
guess actually there are 5
5.
because Superman Returns is part of this story.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
With Brandon Ruth,
Oh shit. Okay. Wow.
who
So
who
yeah,
reprised the role in the CW during a Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover.
I do recall this, but even at that point, I was just like, all right, that's a pretty. He looks the part of Superman, but like
Yes.
it didn't ever make me want to go watch these. Like I was born in like
Talking about Christopher
Batman
Reeves, of
'89.
course.
Yeah, Batman '89 with Michael Keaton was there. It's like this is comparing these two movies is not even close to me, anyways. But,
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, I definitely am more excited because a lot of stuff in this movie, like I didn't know happened already. Like in this, I know the Superman lore of like reversing the Earth. I was like, that's
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
No, we already gave it. We gave that spoiler
Yeah.
alert. We're breaking it open. We can talk about all the parts of it, and I definitely want to talk about time travel in this movie. I want to talk about all the weird stuff. There's funny stuff.
Oh, God.
Like there's like some off the wall things. You guys are like the nicest 2 guys. Like I swear, it's like I understand. This was 1978. There is some flat out corny stuff in this movie, but watching this thing, especially like fresh this week, like sitting down to be like, I'm gonna watch this, not just like on in the background like when I was 15. I was, I'm gonna watch this movie as if like I'm in the theater seeing this movie for the first time. It's not bad. It's a movie that teaches you about Superman. Hey, what we talk about a lot on this show, origin stories are tough.
Mhm.
So not only are you going to have to convince people that Superman is real and he can fly and he's cool, but it's his origin story. So it's just already a little convoluted. But
true.
man, you talk about campy. You talk about some of the funniest things that happen in this thing. Like some of the powers. Like I'm really like I have so many questions about how does he change into a Superman suit? It just kind of happens. Like
Yeah.
whenever like if he thinks about it,
He
it'll-
runs somewhere like an alley and does it.
or just flies.
Yeah, he was flying down as in a suit and then changed into his suit,
You
Superman
can't
suit.
see through lead.
Yes, can't see through lead. What do you guys think of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor in this movie?
I thought it was awesome.
Amazing,
I
right?
think that's the best,
Yeah, he was
the
great.
best person in the whole film.
I'll give it up, man.
That's one thing I didn't really catch on, I guess, in my Lex Luthor history. I just assumed he was just bald all the time.
Right.
And then just to see that kind of how
And
that,
he's wigging out this whole movie. He's wearing wigs.
so that's just something
I mean, he-
eye-opening thing to me that
He just constantly talks to Otis and Miss. I want to say Schumacher. I don't think that's it though, is it? It's pretty close.
Testmaker.
Testmaker.
yeah.
Eve.
He
Testmaker.
he's like, do you guys just bask in my presence in awe all the time? Like he just talks like that to the whole movie. He just calls them dumb. He talks down to them, but he's also brilliant. He's witty.
Mhm.
I was kind of confused why they were in the sewer. Did you guys understand like why he's living down there? It was like the price, right? He had like got it for a good deal. He loves real estate.
Loves real estate. That's his whole plot, is to blow up the fault line and have California fall off, and then he has the most expensive real estate in California.
Because he already owns it.
Because he already owns
He
it.
bought unvaluable desert land that
Mhm.
will become beachfront.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otisville.
I thought that was just trying to make him look cheap, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and because they do kind of make him look a little cheap in this, and it's like, I don't know, it's fine. I thought he was all right. I think him as Lex Luthor is fun. It is awesome.
Better than Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh man, yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I'll agree with that.
That's not hard to do. But
I will say, watching this movie, I mean, of course, it was the inspiration for Man of Steel, starring Henry Cavill.
Mhm.
But like, not just. I mean, it's like every part of the movie, they just did it in Man of Steel, like in the same order. Like the journey of him, Clark Kent, going to the Fortress of Solitude for the first time. Like in this movie, he like puts on a winter coat and he like you see him in the snow for a minute. Well, in Man of Steel, they like flush it out. They're like he's on a ship somewhere and he saves people from an oil rig. So like it was, I did see like in the same order, Man of Steel. I don't know. It felt a little. I don't know. We're not talking about that movie right now, but I don't want to say it's ripped off from this. It's a Superman story. I'm just saying though.
they'll have similarities, but it's
Yeah.
pretty close.
Very similar is what I'm getting at.
Too
Yeah,
similar.
absolutely.
Like,
Too
obviously-
similar, yes. Of like the same things in the same order, but just told in a different way is kind of what I thought about
Yeah,
Man of
that's a
Steel.
good call.
This one though, is it John Williams that scored this?
Mhm. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's my number one favorite music.
I'll give it up. I mean,
Opening sequence, I was just just raging. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
ready for just run into a brick wall and watch Superman.
Love the graphics too.
But
Like
just
the names coming in and like the
yes, the like has the stream tail behind it. The music. I mean, if you put this music to any movie, you'd be like, this movie, even if it was bad, I feel like the music just really makes it. I remember having this as my ringtone on my Motorola Razr. I don't know if you remember, Mike, but I even remember the Nokia, the square Nokias that we had. I had a Superman case. It was like one of the first times you could ever even have a phone case. And it wasn't the case. It was the phone like shell that you had to take apart.
Yeah, the brick.
It was a Superman, and I had red like see-through buttons.
He was the coolest.
Yeah, it was cool. But this was the movie, though. This was the story that got me pumped up about it. This was the suit. This was the music. I'll just go through some of my parts that I wrote down. I just thought, like, man, Lois Lane's apartment was really, really nice.
She's the best reporter there.
She is, but she's like still working her way up. This was before her big interview with Superman, which, I mean, as far as the interview with Superman goes, it was really just like a sexual tension meeting.
Yeah.
It was all about, like, from both sides, sexual looks.
Yeah.
There's some sexual things in this movie.
I felt bad though. I don't know, just me looking at it. I felt bad for Clark Kent in that situation.
Yeah.
'Cause she wants nothing to do with Clark Kent.
Won't even look at him.
But she wants Superman. And I don't know.
And he
I
almost
just felt bad for
and he
him.
almost starts to tell her, and
Yeah.
then he's like, "No, I won't."
He smiles, like when he's back at Clark Kent, like to pick her up, and he's like,
Hey, you know what though?
Got
In
this.
that moment, I was like, Christopher Reeves is so good,
he was awesome.
unbelievable. Like, give it up. I mean, of course, R.I.P. And this guy's a legend. That scene was when I was like, oh my gosh, like I really did feel like I had forgot that he was Superman. And Clark Kent was like there being all sad and goofy, but then he stands up and I'm like, oh my God, there it is. The little just little posture, little smile.
He definitely did awesome, because I think that's the parts of him, like he just plays the awkwardness so perfectly of Clark Kent, and like the awkwardness of just like when Superman's like being interviewed by her, just like him, just kind of the awkwardness of just him being hanging out with like mortals and stuff like that.
Yeah, just walking with his hands behind
just
his
like,
back.
What's up? Just flew up here.
I did. Oh, go ahead.
I also like the part like him in high school.
Yes.
Like, because you always kind of miss that part. I know you get it in like Smallville and stuff.
Well, Smallville, that's the whole thing. And I thought about that with Smallville. I was like, someone watched the first 10 minutes and they go, there's a show here.
Yeah.
And they were right.
And then how he's like hiding his powers and like
Yeah, that part where he runs
runs home.
and they're like, how'd you get here? That happens in Smallville.
Does it?
And there's a lot of other things that directly happen in Smallville in this movie. When he throws the Fortress of Solitude crystal, they do that in Smallville, but there's like a whole season that leads to that moment.
But I just thought it was cool, like him punting the football and like him being bullied
Yes.
when he really doesn't have to be bullied, but he's trying to hide who he is because his dad's like, hey, we got to assimilate to what we need you to be.
And that his dad in this, he tells him, he's like, you're here for a reason. Like, you're gonna do something great one day. Those are like almost verbatim what Kevin Costner says in Man of Steel. I didn't want to make this about comparing stuff, but I think what's happening is watching this with the eyes I have now, I can't help but correlate it to what was created after, which this is the inspiration. You're seeing it.
The comics are the source material. This is the movie they probably took a lot of stuff from, and then
comic book fans are hearing me talk, and they're like, yeah. That's how we've been feeling our whole lives.
Since 1938 or whenever it came out.
And watching like bad variations of it all too. But this one's okay. Go ahead if you have something. I got all
some
sorts.
questions that I just need to ask for the real fans of this that have seen this movie multiple times. Meaning, hopefully, you guys can answer this.
I was hoping you guys had questions.
So when they leave him from, first off, Krypton, they call it Krypton on Krypton, but we call it Krypton. Is that just like a thing?
That's their Krypton accent. They just call it Krypton.
Okay.
But yeah, Krypton, we haven't even talked about the opening sequence. Go ahead, Giggler.
So like they send him off and it's like he ages on his way to Earth. Is that what happens?
Yeah. It looks like he's a little baby. So Krypton's
light years.
Krypton's is crashing down. Jor-El tries to tell everybody, and then
they just won't believe him.
They won't believe him. They're like, "You're crazy. We just won't hear it."
So that was just the time
the planet blows up, and then he puts a baby in there.
He just aged on his way there.
In the ship, he ages to like, maybe 4.
It's like
4.
That's the hardest part of the like they just jump times like a bunch of times, and you're like, okay, now he's this.
Well,
okay.
It must have been 4 light years or something.
Yep.
There we go.
Science good too.
I'm good at math. Any other questions? Any other brain busters?
Why didn't Jor-El leave as well? if he knew it was coming.
Why not just why not take a couple ships?
Yeah.
Well, he said that, and like when he was in court or whatever, that they wouldn't go. So he's just a man of his word. He said him and his wife wouldn't go. He didn't say anything about. He was like,
True.
But
why do you lump his wife?
But
in?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know.
I won't go. Go.
Just get out of here. Just run. That's another thing. This movie opens up with the trial on General Zod.
Yep.
And the other two.
They get put in a pane of glass.
Yeah, the
that was weird.
the Phantom Zone is as it's called, which I don't know if they even call it the Phantom Zone. That Phantom Zone flipping through space like that literally makes a appearance in Smallville. Like as is.
Superman 2, get ready because it happened.
Oh, I know. And well, that's because like General Zod. And there's the whole trial happening. Again, not trying to compare everything, but I don't know if Man of Steel was just meant to like remake this movie. Now that I'm looking at it,
Like a better version.
it's literally the same. It opens the same way, same trial, same words, but like in Man of Steel, much more violent, more to it. Like, I will find him. I always remember that part.
Yeah.
That's so great. Actually, I like Man of Steel, but
I like Man of Steel too.
yeah. So Krypton gets. I mean, I was crazy. I was like, this is too relatable. Someone just not. It's like, hey, this planet's dying. No one's listening.
Right. What else? Yeah, Baby Superman was just the best part.
When he lifts the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he nude?
Oh
Like
yeah.
the whole time?
I meant to say, there's like his penis is in there.
Yeah.
There's a Superboy penis in here.
I was
What?
like, do we need that?
No, like
No,
he's
we
all
definitely
he's
didn't
all
need
the
that.
way naked holding
Yeah,
the truck,
and I was like,
you
we-
see there's a little toddler just full on naked. 1978.
Couldn't go like belly button up for the boy? Like,
I mean, in post, just blur it out.
Weird.
that shook me. I was like,
That hit me too. I thought the same thing, Mike.
The running teenager. That was the most ridiculous scene I've ever seen.
So you're talking about when he's in Smallville,
and he's like running, where he was running from one place to the other, and they
To
were
beat
like,
the
"How'd
car."
you get here?"
yeah.
I like
But
that.
he's just like,
Oh, like how it looks.
yeah, he looks so stupid.
That improves. It was
I was like-
1978.
I watched it and I was like, I want to see Logan, like do his impersonation of this run, because I feel like you could.
I can barely
knock
even
it
I can
down.
barely even see it. I must have like looked down at my phone for a hot second because I feel like
It-
I
it
feel like I
looks
looked
so
up and
stupid.
he was leaning against the truck. What about all right, let's talk about Miss Tessmacher. A couple things. I like whenever Superman has that kryptonite around his neck and he's falling down to the water, and then she helps him, but before she helps him, she just
Slips a kiss.
Yeah.
slips him a kiss. And then later she gets a bunch of soldiers to pull over and come think she's in a car accident because Lex Luthor is trying to get on that torpedo.
Yeah.
The missile, I guess so he can navigate it to where he wants, and she's just on the ground, and all the soldiers get around her,
Yeah.
and they all look down and
It's like-
the general's like, mouth to mouth, and the young man's like, okay, and he goes, no, I'll do it.
I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do.
And then he goes down to give her mouth to mouth, and what do all the soldiers do?
Turn around.
They turn around and face outward, and I was like, oh god,
78.
oh, it's 1978.
Weird.
Ugh, oh boy, that does not sit well in today's climate. But yeah, let's talk about the big part, right? I mean, I would say that the movie kind of drags for me a little bit, 2/3 of the way in.
It's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't expect
It
it to be that
is.
long.
Yeah, geez, it's how long?
2 hours and like
2:23.
The run time's 2:23, but probably like 2:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you're 2/3 of the way in. They do like the interview. There's that weird Lois Lane monologue when they're flying.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing about powers. So you can just fly as long as I'm touching you.
He's super strong though.
Yeah, but wouldn't it like break her finger?
I don't know.
Anyway, she has that weird internal monologue where she's like thinking through what she's thinking while she's flying. And it's just like, okay. But when it does start to come back for me is the third act in the movie with the big plan coming into play. Lex Luthor sends his missiles. There's 2 of them. And Superman saves basically everybody, but Lois Lane dies because her car falls into the fault line, suffocates her. What does he do? He flies up. And even though there's like Jor-El in his head, his dad from Krypton going, it's forbidden. It's forbidden.
But
He
he takes his dad's advice.
he takes his Earth dad's advice of you're here
For a reason.
you're here for a reason, and then he backs that Earth up. He spins around. The Earth's rotation shifts the other way, and then time starts to rewind. And then he puts it back, and he gets down and he saves her.
Just like the Snyder Cut all over again.
Yeah, just a do-over. Just a big do-over. What'd you think of that, Andy?
That I mean, as soon as I saw that she died, I knew that's how it was going to be fixed, but it was still cool to see. I didn't realize it was that early, like in the
Because you knew it was
movies that-
coming.
I knew it
from
happened
the-
sometime.
'cause
Like
people
I
had
just
talked
knew,
about it.
Yeah, I've seen it from like I think cartoons or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching a lot of Superman cartoons when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not so much these movies though.
What'd you think, Mike, about the saving scene? I feel like this is a controversial scene. People are like, "What a cop out."
I mean, I could see movies now doing it with multiverses.
Yeah, and
Like, it's the same type of thing.
Like,
yeah.
They just did it in a different way.
they did it in one movie.
Yeah.
They just backed it up in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just got to take it for what it is.
It's
like,
a comic.
It is a
It's true. It's true.
cheesy kind of campy
Yeah.
movie, but I still enjoyed watching it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I'd agree. I do think that the that journey to Superman is so quick from when he's a teenager. It just happens
Mhm.
so quickly where it's just like, okay. And he was there for like 15 years or something.
They had to fit it in though. Like they put an origin story in with this first movie. It wasn't.
Well, did you catch how they did it though? It's like, welcome to the Fortress of Solitude. I'm Jor-El. I'm your dad. Time to go to training, and that's what happens in
Mhm.
Smallville. He has to like go through. He goes to the fortress, and it's like he's in a beam, and his brain's like downloading everything.
Yeah.
That's what happens here, but they're just like taking you through space, and you're just going through space, and Jor-El's just talking and talking.
Yeah,
But
it was
apparently, he was at the fortress for like 10 years, and that's
Yeah,
why he
I
looks
think
different.
I think they said 12.
12, yeah, something like that.
Crazy.
Just crazy. I mean, for a fan that doesn't know or like hasn't been watching these forever, like 1978, you're in the theater, and
They have to fit it all in. And
yes, same problems they have today.
Mhm.
Today,
some things that stood out
yeah. Go ahead. I think I'm
Like-
almost at the end of my list.
stat wise, Marlon Brando made $19 million for this.
Oh shoot! You know what? That's amazing. Can you pull up the budget and box office? That's
Box office, they made $300 million,
they made $300 million,
and it cost 50,
and it was a $50 million.
55 maybe,
Hey, $55
Yeah.
million. That ain't no joke.
but-
1978.
but 300 million, like it made superhero movies.
This was the kickoff.
Yeah,
This
but-
was okay. This can work.
Yeah, Marlon Brando was on screen for what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was him.
It's
Yeah.
him, and he's in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then he's the face.
But he was supposed to be in Superman 2. Got in a dispute, sued him. It's not even in Superman 2.
At all?
Not at all.
Wow. Is there another Jor-El? I don't remember.
I
well,
don't remember.
well, we're gonna know because
Um,
we're gonna watch it.
And then he did this as a favor because the screenplay was by Mario Puzo,
Okay.
who
Yes.
wrote The Godfather.
Wow.
And Marlon Brando won one of his Academy Awards for The Godfather.
For The Godfather. There's your connection.
Yep.
All right. I did think it was a funny part with Lex Luthor whenever like Otis messes up the first time on the missile, so then they have to do another plan, and they just do like an oversized load that's like blocking the bridge, and Lex Luthor's in a cowboy hat going like, "How y'all doing today?" It was like, okay, yeah, this is like straight out of an animated Superman cartoon, like for a movie,
Yes.
or for a kid. I mean,
Like Ned Beatty,
yeah,
awesome actor, didn't probably need to be in this film. I get the
This-
slapstick, like the
yeah, you're right.
comedy relief.
Ridiculous.
Because like, why
yeah,
is he working
just over
with-
the top?
Why is he working with such idiots?
Yeah.
like not even just like basic idiots, like just full on idiots.
Mhm.
Is it? I feel like it's to make himself feel better about himself.
You're
Like,
right.
Egomaniac like that. I feel like that's just
Like a yes man.
Trait,
He wants a
yeah.
yes man, but he
But-
could find one that's not as.
that was what I thought. from
Well,
seeing
Lex
it. I don't know.
Luthor in the comics is a mastermind.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he's like
in
the ultimate
Batman
villain.
versus Superman, he's a mastermind.
Yes.
Do you think that's why Jesse Eisenberg had all that hair? Like,
Before?
yeah,
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like why?
like Gene Hackman's character in this, he had the hair.
What do you think? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I wonder if it's a callback to that, like an homage.
I mean, if I looking at Man of Steel, it's just like a copy of this, just put it on with like a dark filter.
Do we need to do Man of Steel next week so we can just do a direct comparison?
I mean, that's an interesting idea, and then it'd be fun to watch Smallville too if I could get you guys to watch all 10 seasons of that.
Jesus.
Jeez,
I mean,
I might.
we might
honestly.
have to like do that one day, and we just do like a Smallville limited series where we just like that's all it is. Because I mean, that's a lot of TV to watch, and I could talk about every episode for sure. All right, Giggler, any other thoughts? As first timer, did Steph watch this with you? Did Rachel
no.
watch this with you, Mike?
I tried. It was just me.
Okay,
I had to watch
solo.
some of it on my phone just because they were watching something on TV already. But
Oh man, dedicated to
whatever.
the pod.
it's whatever. But yeah, I think I'm definitely excited to watch Superman 2 for next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you don't have to be like too excited. I mean,
No, I'm.
Did you enjoy this where you're like you are excited,
I
or
thought-
did this? How did this guys make you guys feel about the DCU rewatch? I mean,
I
it's like
thought
it was
that-
an older movie, right? We're
Mhm.
talking about doing older movies. I had a lot of fun kind of visiting
Yeah,
something
yeah.
old.
I
What
did,
is-
I did too.
What's this symbol mean? Isn't it a sign for hope?
That's
This
awesome.
gave me a sign for
Yeah.
hope.
That's
Just gotta take it
sign
for
for
what it
hope
is.
coming right there from the Kryptonian symbol. All right, let's do some ratings then. Tell us how you really feel, Andy.
All right.
I'm making you go first.
Yeah, this is tough. This is just so different from everything that we've talked about in the past, but I went with a 2.3.
Wow, yeah, that's about what I had in my head for you.
I mean, it's for sure what the lowest of anything that I've talked about on the show, probably. But
but it has to be honest.
yeah,
Like, I mean, and you're a DC fan. It's not like you're not a superhero guy. You're on this podcast. I feel like, if you didn't like superhero stuff at all, like maybe it'd be even lower. You come into this knowing everything about Superman, basically.
yeah.
And that's an honest rating.
No, it was a good. That's I think why I enjoyed it so much. The origin story feature of it. It did a great job of doing that. And now I'm kind of excited to see what villains that they bring in, or is it just Lex Luthor the whole time? I have no clue. But
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
yeah. So that's exciting. But
All right, PC Mike, let's lay it on us. Overall thoughts and a rating.
Overall thoughts, like I said earlier, I think it started. I don't think without this film that you have all the films that we have today. Box office success, instant stars, Christopher Reeve, massive star, great Superman, Gene Hackman, great Lex Luthor. There's some parts that don't really fit, but overall, I think it's a good superhero movie, especially for the time. For me, with all that being said, I'm going to give it a 3.0 on the dot.
Well said. Solid rating. Mad respect for sure. I'll take this home. Wrap this up. Superman the movie. Yeah, this from a storytelling perspective, this thing really does its job, and it was the first of its kind. Like Mike said, this kicks off superhero films because of the success. It opened up the doors to everything that's happened around us in the last 40, 50 years now. It started around the same time as this, so I feel like we owe a lot to this. I think that they did a great job in terms of the music looks great. His flying scenes look pretty legit for 1978.
agreed.
The Fortress of Solitude was really great, and I was I can't not love the Superman story. I love the whole thing from Krypton to Kal-El, and obviously fans out in the world agree. Otherwise, there wouldn't be shows like Krypton, Smallville, and we see the DC being made to this day. But it all started right here with Christopher Reeve, so really do appreciate it. It's not one that I'm gonna be rewatching all the time. One of those that's every few years whenever I just have that feeling, or maybe when we do another rewatch like this. I'm going to be right in between you guys. I gave this thing a 2.8. If high school me knew that Mike, I said your last name too. I'll bleep that out. I'll edit it out. If this guy was rating a Superman movie higher than me, it just doesn't make sense. But that was honest.
I think I'd look and see what it did. And in my mind, I'm a teacher, so a 3.0 out of 4, that's a 75%. I gave it a C.
But I still, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I didn't even give it above a C then. I'm below it.
No, you're right there. 2.8 is close.
I don't know. I'm feeling guilty. I guess I'm feeling guilt. I'm like, Superman's my boy. He's been my guy forever.
Can you explain what your first why was he your favorite?
I mean, as a
I'm just
kid,
curious,
this
honestly.
movie was insane.
Is this movie your biggest Superman influence as a kid?
I mean, as a kid, yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah,
and then the animated series was after that, and I love the Justice League animated series. And then Smallville. I mean, Smallville brought it home for me.
Okay.
And I've watched Smallville many times.
Let's put this in perspective. It won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects
Wow.
in 1978.
That's so crazy.
So yeah, there you go. The best one.
Technology is awesome.
The Saturn Awards, it won Best Science Fiction Film, Best Actress, Best Music, Best Special Effects.
Yeah, this thing just
This
thing
for
brought
1978.
This thing brought it home. But I almost not knowing that coming into this discussion
I
because
didn't either.
because
until
we're
I-
going for the experience, right?
Yeah.
We're all going for I watched this. Where does my rating fall and why?
I mean, we just watched Avengers Endgame and Loki, and then we go back and watch this in 1978. It's hard to compare,
That
but
is so true. You're mixing this old stuff in with like literally Loki came out today. Today.
Hard to compare, but
All right, Superman the movie, our first in the DCU rewatch, excuse me. You can find these and the rest of the DC titles that'll be coming. We got a lot more happening, a long list to get through, old stuff, new stuff. DCU rewatch, mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU. One and done, just like that.
How many more do we have left? We don't
Oh.
even know. That's what's crazy.
I mean, if you go off
It's
that
kind of
list,
like
80.
undetermined.
if we go off that list that we pulled up, yeah, I mean, it was, and there's more than that too. And hell, there's old MCU stuff we haven't seen. Plus, we're not just limiting ourselves to those two categories. We're also open to any old title, new title. I love this. I love that we're mixing it up.